All right, how's it going, everybody? This is session 27 of Storm King's Thunder. You know these people by now if you're checking this out. Last we left off, the party begun their long journey from Fireshear across the Icewind Dales into the Cloudland Vale, a vale said to be ruled by a dragon as old as Toril itself. A dragon to some players that are acquaintance. But that is said to have been legends, so who really cares about that? The party took off, taking the shortcut through the Cloudland Vale, marching over the icy rocks and battling the cold winter air as they now find themselves in the middle of midwinter. It was around the third day of this trek that they were ambushed by a fire giant. Those that would be knowing kind of the fire giants' habitat or normal hanging would realize that this is really far west for a fire giant. But nonetheless, it surprised the party and the battle began. But the party being no strangers to giants now, having overcome an entire frost giant stronghold, they were able to overtake this one giant and defeating it. It's at that point that they heard the sound of a propeller in the air, and as they looked up, Warrendale in particular seen an incredibly familiar airship, which has this red balloon, and it actually kind of looks like a sleigh. It's strangely Santa Claus-ish in its looking, but let me screen share it to you actually since I have a picture of it. And on this old sleigh run by an air balloon was 8 members of the dragon cult led by Delphine, Warrendel's, as he would probably imagine it, love interest. As Delphine would imagine it, vomit-inducing, but that's okay. And she basically introduced old Snarl, this fat, bloated, frog-like man with a throat that seems to actually protrude out like a frog about to ribbit. He has boils kind of on his face, but he's decked out in this top-notch, like 3-piece suit that looks like at the faintest wind blow, the buttons on it are just going to burst out. Literally, the suit seems to be bursting at the seams. And you see this individual, old Snarl, as he likes to be called, has in his part of his suit a bunch of wands kind of tucked into them. And the last we left off, this old Snarl welcomed Warrendale and said that Warrendale was apparently his employee, and it was time for a little employee review. And at that point, the party began to board the airship. So, that is where we start, Warrendale. How are you feeling after seeing your old boss? Actually, he's probably not an old boss to you. This is a relatively new arrangement, but hey, it's time for an employee review. You know, your little 6-month review.
Warren rather expected it. I mean, if he's traveling through here, it would only be expected. And in a way, he might have just wanted that.
Absolutely. So, as you approach, Klaus has this big kind of smile on him, and he watches you as the plank is let out from the airship that now lands, touching down. You see the hot air that's been blowing out from it from below deck cease, and it touches ground. He's kind of waiting there, proudly standing with his hands on his big old belly, as round as the boulder that the fire giant chucked at you, and he's kind of just giggling to himself, and he looks at you and says, "I must admit, Warrendale, I'm a little disappointed to see you working with the enemy." And he looks at Harshnag. Harshnag, not really knowing, actually, Harshnag knowing grips Gert, the great axe, and looks like he's ready for a fight at any second. But for the first time in your life, you see that Harshnag the Grim is frightened, and he's actually sweating. To see a frost giant sweat is probably a peculiar thing.
Freezes into little crystals.
Yeah.
Nah, he's one of us. You don't have to worry.
You're saying I don't gotta worry, Warndell? Well, I don't know what you've been up to. Actually, that's a lie. I know exactly what you've been up to, but I don't know if you've been paying attention to what the world itself has been up to. The giants, Warndell, have begun a war. They're running amok all around Toriel, all around the Sword Coast.
It's a shit show, isn't it?
Oh, it's a fucking shit show indeed, Warndell. I gotta admit, though, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't impressed to hear of you taking out a whole giant stronghold.
Did it just for you, boss.
Now that's a 9 hell of a good job, my friend, and I'll be checking off that box on the employee review. You see Delphine scouring, like she's not impressed. She hates your guts, and
I just do the little itch with the one finger on the side of my face.
Yeah. He looks over and says, "Shit, Delphine, what are you scouring for? How many frost giants have you taken care of? Maybe you should be following Warndell's example."
I'd be happy to take her along, teach her a few things for you if you need. You just say the word.
Livy, you're kind of coming on board now, I imagine.
Sure.
He holds out his hand and says, "Well, who are you?"
The name is Livy Caspian. She will shake his hand firmly.
Takes the hand and pulls it in and gives it a disgusting but gentle kiss and says, "Well, aren't you just a sweet thing?"
I try.
And look at this, Warndell. What do we have here? You managed to round yourself up a little kitty cat?
That's what I call her. She don't much appreciate it, but yeah.
Well, Livy Caspian, and who are you, little kitty?
Sunlit is mystified of what is in front of her and just looks over at her on again, off again friend. What is going on here, Warndell?
Well, he cuts it off before Warndell gets to say, "You see, me and Warndell here, we go way, way back. Actually, just a few months ago, but Warndell, being the little trickster that he thought he was, thought he could swindle me in a game of dragon's dice.
I did.
Swindle a whole Snarl. Now, that's a good one. Well, after that little shindig, we and Warndell and my friends here met up with him in a long, dark alleyway, and we taught Warndell a little lesson about what happens if you try to rip off old Snarl. But he had spunk, and I liked it. I'm not going to lie. I like a man or a woman that has spunk, and Warndell definitely has a large, heaping dose of that spunk in him. So I hired Warndell on, told him he was going to work for me. This, a few months later, it's kind of me being a good boss, checking in on him, making sure my employee is doing his job, making sure my employee has no complaints. I do try to run a sound and fair union.
Right. And she hasn't taken her eyes off of Warndell yet. And hasn't looked at old Snarl there.
He lumbers over and actually pets you on the head like you're a cat and scruffs you up.
as his hand is still on her head, she grips the hand and takes it off of her head. I guess the pleasantries should commence. My name is Sunlit in the Darkness. Yes.
Well, that's the strangest name I've ever heard.
It's because you've probably never met a tabaxi before. Many of us have names very similar to this.
I think I ate a tabaxi once. It's good eating.
She just does that like slow head turn to meet his gaze.
You see him just looking at you. I imagine he's probably, how tall are you again? 6 something?
6'3", 6'4".
Yeah, you stand pretty much equal with this. This is a big dude.
Yeah.
He's at least like 400 or 500 pounds by the looks of it. And if you know what he actually is, which you probably all do by now, you know that he's a real big dude.
I don't know that Sunlit does.
That's true.
I'm being very honest.
Yeah, you might.
Maybe that's something that he and Livy have talked about, but they've been busy making fun of me most of the time, so maybe that's happened.
Yeah, being down where you're from, I don't know if it would really reach that far.
I can't remember if it came up in the campaign or not. It might not have. So you can play.
No,
that.
I've never mentioned what he is anyway, at least from my end.
Yeah.
No, not at all. And well, Mr. Snarl.
Call me old Snarl. I don't like being called Mister.
Fine. So, how long is this review going to take? Because we're a bit busy ourselves.
Oh, that's why I'm here, so lit. I'm here because I reckon that you guys are busy. But you see, this giant's upheaval, it's reaching a bit of a boiling point. Each of the cast are running amok in all of the Sword Coasts, and it's just downright bad for my business.
It's glad you mentioned that, boss man. No, I heard a bit of something.
What'd you hear, Mondale? I
Like
heard
spread
something
the
too.
word. Didn't want to spread all the words, but you're a bit on the top of the list for the old food chain with those giants. Nah, I don't got no worries about you. You can handle yourself, obviously, but I'm just spreading the news. That's what I've been hearing. What was that frost giant's name? I don't remember his name. But he mentioned that you were a bit at the top of the list. Why he killed a couple of whites. Just letting you know.
He smiles. Warrendale, I'm not just at the top of the list. I'm on a list of my own. Ain't nobody else on my list. You see, there's 2 types of people that know Old Snarl. People that Old Snarl calls friends. And then there's people that are dead.
And where do we fall on that list there, Old Snarl?
Well, my friend, I guess that's yet to be seen.
And she turns her head back to Warrendale. So, when we had our little issue, when we were with another of the people you're not supposed to be hanging out with, apparently, this is the issue, wasn't it?
Nah. Boss man here, he wasn't so much this. He was a pretty little lady over there. Kind of nudges over her shoulder at Delphine, gives her a bit of a wink. She just went and stole your shit, to be honest. But you can take it up with her if you would like.
She's just blinking at you.
So, if you two are done your little side chat here, being as busy as you are, and I'm sure you can understand that I myself am quite busy. I didn't just come out here, Warrendale, to listen to you squabble with your kitty cat. The giants are a problem to me. Now, I don't want people getting the wrong idea. I ain't no hero. I don't want them seeing old Snarl swooping in and taking care of these giants, and then before you know it, I got a little fan group. That's not what old Snarl's about. But when that King Hecaton, went missing, seems that those storm giants went into hiding. It's a shame to think that without Daddy, they ain't brave enough to come above the sea. But the way I see it, this is their mess to clean up. Not mine. So, I reckon what you guys were doing at Varberg was looking for the Oracle's lens. Ain't that right?
We had it to the kitty cat lost it.
I don't think she exactly lost it.
What do you mean, Wallendale, that you lost it?
I didn't say I said the kitty cat. But I'll take the blame, sure, why not?
It really wasn't any of our faults, though.
What was that bastard's name?
Old Snarl actually now has a document out, and he kind of shows it to you momentarily, and it does say employee review. And he is scribbling in it ferociously now with anger. You're going to have to go into a bit more detail about this lens that you or your kitty cat went and lost.
I can't remember the guy's name. But he'll just kind of go through the whole spiel of what they did. Let them know about that mage guy who basically stole it from Sunlit and blasted her.
Delphine is smiling ear to ear now as you go through this story. And I imagine it's actually very similar to that because you actually probably, as Warrendale, don't remember the guy's name.
Some bastard went and stole it. Infected my friend with the barnacles, and she had shit crawling all over her body, and show her the scar there. So, describes this nasty scar and the whole battle with the Kraken, whatever the hell they were, bastards. But I'm a pirate now, so don't you worry. I'll be getting that oracle back in no time.
So you finish describing that, and then there's just a moment of awkward silence where he's still writing in this document that he has, this little notepad. And then finally it comes to after like borderline a minute, he dots the last kind of period. And he looks up at you.
So, do you want the adult story now?
He stares in expectance. I want some kind of story. I got to admit, Wallendale, you're really starting to fucking piss me off.
At least I killed more giants than that wench over there.
He tends to have that effect on people.
Go ahead, Sunlit. You all better give me something to go on here.
So, most of his story is, in his own way of telling it, correct. I did acquire the lens. We were making our exit, and we met a wizard named, she would know the name. Can you please tell it to me?
Niradon.
Yeah, Niradon. A wizard named Niradon, all dressed in white, did get the upper hand on me. That doesn't happen very often. And acquired the lens. He did, as she keeps looking at Warrendale, put a curse on me that made it so that I was being chased by the Scholareth, the clerics, from the deep. It was very awful. And as he said, we have been all over the coast here, and we made a friend that was able to cure me of that. Yes. And she does maybe pull down the back of her hood to show that she's missing hair and so on and so forth on her back. I went through a very, very large ordeal for that.
You mean you lot got tangled up in Slough Cathedrals?
Shit. Yes.
And
Unfortunately,
you lost the lands. You
I didn't.
lost the lands to one of Slarkathel's shitty little mages.
I don't know if that's who they are, sir. But what I can tell you is that he told me he was part of some group that sounded fishy. And then, yes, when I find him, there will be one less mage on this plane of existence.
All right. I've heard enough of these stories. And he actually like seems to be getting like red in the face, like he's beginning to boil. And he says, "Okay, Warrendale, and your little policy. I gotta be a little bit honest with you. I'm a little upset. I'm gonna have to give you not satisfaction on the review. Now that's strike one. Strike two with old Snarl don't exist. If that Kraken wants that lens, then this is bigger than I thought.
Seems as if everybody wants that lens there, old Snarl.
You lot are gonna get your asses to the Eye of the Allfather. You're gonna deal with that little mage. And then you're gonna ask that giant oracle what in the fuck those storm giants are doing. You're gonna tell that oracle that those storm giants are gonna nut up because daddy's not here to clean up their mess. In old Snarl here, I don't clean up other messes. So they better get sweeping."
Not looking intimidated by old Snarl. Sunlit looks him dead in the face and says, I actually may have another solution to this. Maybe. You see, on my travels from Mazteca across the ocean there, I actually made friends with Daddy's daughter, and also acquaintance maybe with even his wife. I met him. He was pleasant, as I've met all of the giants to be.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, Sunlit, but she's dead. The wife of Hecaton has been killed. Have you met Sarissa, though?
I did.
Then that is
I would say that maybe I'm friends with Sarissa.
indeed something that is of interest. Warrendale, why haven't you made no friends with no storm giant princess? This is the kind of work that I'm looking for.
Frost giants for you. Got to be in two places at once.
This happened far before I knew you, Warrendale.
He was doing it anyway.
And
So here's what I want. I want to be frank with you.
I thought you were old Snarl.
Don't be playing no games with me, little kitty. I appreciate the sentiment, but the whole Snarl here is not here to play any goddamn games. Now, the storm giants, for those of you that don't know, live deep in the sea, somewhere in the lost seas, in a fortress called Maelstrom. Now, if I knew how to get to Maelstrom, then I already would have been over there, giving the storm giants a piece of my mind, and maybe a piece of something else if they weren't listening. But the fact of the matter is, nobody knows where Maelstrom is, except for that little oracle hiding up in the Allfather. Harshnag finally speaks up now, quivering as he does so, Sunlit, which you kind of hear, and he says, how does a dragon know about the Allfather?
She snaps her head towards Harshnag. Did you say dragon?
And then you see him like, yes. standing before you is Cloth, ancient red dragon, oldest dragon in Toril. And then you turn and look at old Snarl, and he says, my frost giant friend, you apparently are in allegiance with Warrendale here, so I don't want you calling me by that. You see, my friends don't call me by that name. Only my enemies call me by that. And if you're calling me that, then you're declaring me an enemy. And like I said, old Snarl here only knows two types of people. Harshnag at that point shuts up.
Friends and deceased, yes.
Very, Mr. Snarl.
I said,
Perhaps
don't call me Mr.
Or Snarl. Yes, whatever. But if I don't mind stepping up for a moment here, what interest do you have in all this giant bullshit anyway? I mean,
I told you.
Obviously, they don't have any harm against you.
Obviously, they don't have any harm against me, Warrendale. They're fucking giants. But I'm an entrepreneur, you see, a businessman. My reach stretches from every big city out here in the Sword Coast, as far as down to Baldur's Gate. The fucking giants are on a warpath. They're destroying everything in their way, and everything in their way just so happens to be my business. So, enough of the formalities here. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen from this point forward. Delphine and her little airship. You're going to go along with them. I know where the All-Father is. She's going to drop you off. This is going to expedite the service just a little bit. You're going to get that lens back. You're going to kill that mage so that he ain't ever go back to his little kraken friend. And then you're going to find out what Maelstrom is. And you're going to go there because your little kitty cat knows who Sarissa, the princess of the Storm Giants, is. And you're going to tell those Storm Giants to fix this. Because if they don't, then Klauth will be coming.
Seems easy enough. I can't deny traveling with the beautiful Delphine anyway. We get along quite well. But I got this, don't worry.
Delphine's like, you gotta be kidding me. There's no way I would ever travel with him. Old Snarl looks at her. Delphine, do I look like someone who's kidding right now?
I'll teach her how to slay giants, don't worry.
If looks could kill you right now, she'd be hitting you with a power word kill, but unfortunately, she's not that high level. So, old Snarl begins to like ferry you guys onto the ship, and it's like, is there any other questions you guys got before I take off?
Seems all pretty straightforward. Oh, we actually have a destination now. Let's do this.
I do. Does this mean that we're now your employees?
Consider yourself on internship.
I'd be like your manager, so don't worry.
You'll never manage anything that has anything to do with me there, Ward.
Is this a paid internship? Just saying. Just saying. I make some killer pancakes and I need
Snarl looks at you and just like, ain't you just the sweetest little piece of pie? And it probably just like makes your skin crawl as you hear this disgusting frog-like man say that to you. And he says, I tell you what, you go to this Eye-Father. He's not even saying it right at this point. He's just calling it the Eye-Father. You deal with this mage and you fix this little issue for old Snarl here. And I'll make sure that I pay you, Livy, real well.
Right. Okay. Oh, crackers.
And then he begins to walk off the ship, to which you look.
What?
Go ahead.
Finish him walking off the ship. I just got something to mention to Warren.
He walks off the ship. His feet kind of sink into the snow. And then you look at Harshnag. And Harshnag is like the size of this ship. There is no way in hell that this giant's going to fit on it. Old Snarl looks at Harshnag and says, if you want to be joining your friends here, Mr. Frost Giant, I reckon you best be running. You got a lot of distance to cover. And then he kind of laughs to himself and begins to walk away in the snow. To which point he actually pulls out a wand and begins to cast a spell. And if you guys essentially don't do anything, he makes like a circle, and then within a few minutes, teleports away.
Oh, so teleportation. Cool. Yay, wasted 19 on that.
Yeah.
Warren would hold up just to see if he can get his attention one last time as he's kind of getting ready to leave.
Yeah, he would be just before looking at you.
Like, so just one thing there, boss. The hell would a Kraken want to have with this Oracle lens anyway?
That's something even I'm asking myself, Warrendale.
I'll see what I can find out then.
Please do. It's said that the Oracle knows everything. Feel free to pick that giant's brain. And with that, teleport, woof, bamps away. He's gone.
My beautiful Dulcifine, I've waited to
She
lounge here on the ship with you.
dagger to your throat is like, I will fucking cut out your tongue.
No, you won't, because I have to ask the giant questions. And if I can't ask the questions because of you, that wouldn't look good, you know. It'll be all right. Chop, chop, let's get to go. We need to get going here.
Let's see if she attacks you. She does not. She says, you will pay for this. One day, you will lose favor with Klauth, and he will kill you, and I will be there, and I will laugh as he burns you alive, and then I will stomp on your grave, and I will take those bones after I've stomped them, and I will throw them in a fucking dragon's shit pot and make sure that he shits all over you.
Enough talk. Let's go.
All right. And he begins to draw up the plank, and you just see Harshnag standing there like, I guess I'll meet you guys there.
Do so. Safe travels.
And yeah, he turns around looking at you one more time like a sad frost giant. And he's really grim, and then begins to run off through the snow. And you guys pick up as you are on the airship. As I've shown you what it looks like, there's actually a map, I believe, I can show you also. Let me show you. Okay, and you do see that on the ship itself is a crew of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
So 10 total, including Dulcifine?
8, sorry, total. I counted a basilisk or ballista as an NPC. So 8, including Dulcifine. And she says, I'm going to my quarters. If any of them do anything stupid, subdue them. And she just does that. Heads downstairs.
I'll miss you, my dear. Don't be long. I would speed up the ship with my cool flag, though, if it helps any.
Oh, damn. Yeah, it would, actually. I didn't even think of that. The ship travels really fast as is in terms of fantasy travel. It travels at about 12 miles per hour. And you can double that, right?
I think that's what I'm double checking right now. I'm pretty sure though. Yeah.
That is fast. You guys are booking it.
When did
One
I?
step, traverse breeze on a mounted vehicle can double the vehicle's movement speed. Yep.
Damn. So you're traveling 24 miles per hour, and you got roughly let me see here, 200, and then 200 and math is hard. 250 miles to go. So mathematics. Let's try to figure that out, folks. It's not going to take you very long. I think you can actually literally make it there in like a day or two. Unless I'm really bad at math. Does that make sense? 24 miles. Yeah, we'll say you guys make it in 2 days. Is there anything you guys are doing in that 2 days?
I'm wooing Delphine.
Delphine will fight you.
Has Warren ever mentioned like how they know each other or anything? Because I feel like Libby would probably like. So what is your two story? How did you guys meet?
Well, it's an old fling from Waterdeep. You see, her came up by one night. She tried to woo me, and I tried to woo her. And little things got a little tangled, but it was quite an intimate moment between the two of us. We didn't leave on the what she calls the best of terms, but I can see the glint in her eye, and the passion in my heart still burns. She'll be mine one day too.
She might want to reconcile that.
So,
and also, Snarl, Bree says payment. He's talking about money, right?
I don't know. I guess what you will.
Please let him be talking about payment.
He hasn't killed me yet, so I consider that some sort of payment.
I suppose. Well, we're already on this mission anyway, so.
That's what I figure. If we're going there anyway, we can just get a little bit of help, and I get to stare at the beautiful ladies. It's all good.
Bjornhilda actually comes up to you, Sunlit, and says, Sunlit, why did you let that fat man speak and touch you like that?
If you didn't notice there, Broomhilda, I didn't let him touch me. I removed his sweaty hand as quickly as he put it on my head.
It was so sweaty.
Yeah. You've seen, now that we know, you've seen a dragon before, right, Broomhilda?
Yes. I've seen the white dragon.
Did you know of this dragon?
No. That looked like a fat man, a fat frog man.
Yes, he was almost as ugly as Warrendale.
She smiles at that.
But I think the problems that he has have now become our problems. So,
should we kill Warrendale and make problems go away?
Can't say I haven't had that thought before.
I think if we throw him off this airship, his bones will probably break. He is weak man.
More than you even know, from Hilda. That bodiness is not a I think it's a defense mechanism. But that's neither here nor there. And you do know I was joking when I said that he would be an acceptable suitor for you.
I do not understand this joking you speak of.
Yes, it's no matter.
But yes, I know that he would not be a good suitor.
Yes, he's a foul, awful man that apparently works for a frog.
Too small for Bjornhilda. Bjornhilda would smash him in two.
It's if the time comes, I'll let you throw him off the ship.
Thank you.
And thank you for being there for me.
I will always be there for Great White Tiger. Please provide me with great hunt.
We're going to hunt. And I don't know what you understood from the conversation of the mage, but when we see him, he will have to be eliminated.
She says, we will snap puny trickster like twig.
Yes. Yes, we will. I'm going to go have a conversation with the captain of this ship.
All right. She's actually locked in her quarters. She does everything in her power to not be around Warrendale. If there was a personal hell for Delphine, this would be it.
I feel like Pepe Le Pew.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking the whole time. It's so funny. So, Brunhilda, if you could escort me to the chamber in which you went to, and just watch the door, please. Mostly for Warrendale.
Okay, she does.
And I would like to walk down to that chamber and knock on the door.
You hear, "Go away. No, I will not sleep with you."
She knocks again. I didn't come for a rendezvous.
She partly opens the door. You see this girl. She's actually pretty attractive looking. She has this wavy, deep auburn hair, some freckles on her face, but her eyes are like dark from being tired or an edgelord. She's decked out in this completely black robe with a necklace, or not a brooch, sorry, of a metallic in nature, but painted red, and it's an image of a dragon, obviously. She says, "What do you want?"
I guess the biggest question I have is that your fellow employee is a huge pain in the backside of anything.
He's an idiot, and he's just lucky. His luck will inevitably run out, and if you're on his side of it, then it's unfortunate for you.
I'm on Sewing's side. And the side of my people.
Klauth won't care about any of that.
I'm not talking about Klauth, or Old Snarl, as he's told me to call him.
You'd be smart to only think about Klauth. You've now attracted his attention. Once his attention's locked on you, it will not drop until you either fail him or live out your days till you die.
Well, I choose the second of those two.
You'll be doing so in his service. Although he is the most powerful dragon that there is. There is no greater service than serving Klauth. Klauth is power. Klauth is absolution. Klauth is a god.
And she just kind of looks over to Brumhilda and then looks back to him. Yeah.
She gives you the kind of like cuckoo.
Yeah. Well, I don't foresee him being a god. He is a dragon. I understand that he may be a very powerful dragon, but I serve a god, and I've met her, and he's no god. I'm sorry that you have been misconstrued that way.
She smiles. I'm sorry you're too foolish to see the truth. And she begins to close the door on you.
And she does that like stick her foot in the door thing, so she can't close it.
So you block it, yeah?
Yeah. You didn't let me ask my question yet.
Well, go ahead and ask. Or are you just going to sit here and talk about how you've met your god? Hopefully your god is there when Klauth burns you alive.
She's just shaking her head at her. With empathy. Not in disdain or anything. I guess my biggest question is that the worm, or mole maybe even, says that you're the one that robbed us. Is that correct?
Robbed you? I don't know what you're talking about. You're talking about Warrendel's tribute? What was owed? What was expected and discussed in detail before set free? That is not stolen. What Warrendel had in his property belongs to Klauth. Anything that Klauth wants is his.
But none of that was Warrendel's property.
It's of no concern to me.
See, that's the funny thing. It's a concern to me, and probably my other compatriots. Because the funny thing is that none of the things that were stolen were Warrendel's. None of them, my friend.
Your friend's a prick, and I'm no friend of yours. If you have a problem with this, I'd be more than happy to call up Klauth and let you speak to him. And she opens the door now and points to a smooth stone on the desk. Shall I do that?
Do you need to talk to your boss about everything that happens in your life?
No, but I'm getting really fucking sick and tired of you guys.
I've known you for 20 minutes.
You're all smug as shit. You come on this ship and you think that just because Klauth said I have to help you, that you're invincible to me? You think you can talk about Klauth that way? You think you can make a fool of me?
I'm doing none of those things.
See that she's getting riled up now and beginning to shake. If you have a point, make it. If not, then leave me alone.
Well, at this point, Warrendale has much more wealth than he had before. Maybe you should take that wealth from him and give our property back to us.
I don't know what you're not understanding. Maybe it's because you're not from around here, but what you think is your property is no longer yours. It serves a higher being now. Pretend like you gifted it to your god if that makes you feel better.
She looks at her puzzled, takes 2 steps out of the room, and closes the door.
You hear her shortly after, like, kick something in rage. A very fiery woman.
Yeah, that's fine. As they walk back up into the main deck of the ship, I think I found a new person that I'd like to throw off the ship there, Broomhilda.
Bjornhilda smiles, though, and says, she has fire burning inside her, though.
Maybe it's from the fat man, as she just giggles as she walks away.
Yeah, they giggle together. So, unless any of you guys want to do anything forward, we're going to move forward, montaging through the kind of scenes of this small, in comparison, you see it kind of like floating parallel to the spine of the world, which is apparently, as you guys have heard before, said to be the remains of the primordial god Thrym, which the frost giants herald as their god. Each giant apparently worships a god of their own, and Thrym is said to be this massive giant that created the north and then laid down and was swallowed by his own creation and became the spine of the world. And as you look at this now, maybe we'll say Livy, you probably heard this story. You're kind of looking at this mountain and like picturing what a entity would look like of that caliber, as this ship that you're on, which holds about 12 of you extremely comfortably. There's probably room for more. It has about 100 or 1 ton of cargo, but as it floats next to this mountain with the hurling and never-ending torrent of the wind, cool snowy winds now, it just must be like crazy to think that like something could be that large, I guess, as you feel like a small fleck in the grand scheme of the world, the universe itself. And maybe you're contemplating that. Maybe you guys are contemplating Klaus, the dragon cult, what's going to truly be at this oracle, this eye of the Allfather. But it's before long, 2 days passes. And there's this massive crevice or cliffside or drop off that plunges hundreds of feet deep, 700 feet where you currently are, and you're basically, the ship is narrowly in it, maybe about 10 feet on each side of the ship, kind of floating through, and you see this causeway or this naturally formed ice bridge spanning out from one side of the cliff or crevasse to the other. The airship finally floats up to the peak of this and lands on the western side. The eastern side, on the opposite side of the crevasse, there's no place to really land, and it carries up higher. The snow itself is borderline whiteout conditions now. We're well below minus 40. I guess I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but really fucking cold is the moral of the story. And no normal living creature could live up here. You guys have adorned the Yeti coats again. Even Bjornhilda, a nice Windailer. That's a weird thing to say, Icewind Dailer. Even she's cold on this mountain. But as you look across this naturally formed causeway that runs for, I'm going to say it spans, I guess it would make sense that it spans about 50 feet across. You see a domed entrance, 40 feet wide, naturally formed across the stone causeway. It leads to the entrance of what you can only assume is the Eye of the Allfather. You assume this because you see 6 statuettes of these massive giants. One is of a hill giant lifting a rock above its head. One is of a frost giant chopping down a great tree. A cloud giant soaring with the birds. A storm giant hurling lightning bolts at ships, and there's one of a stone giant climbing and one of a fire giant which has dwarves chained up as prisoners. And you see this domed entrance, and it has 6 pillars which kind of form this support to the entryway. And the snow itself has actually kind of slammed up against this, and there's this opened, pushed open door, and the natural snowdrift has actually begun to swallow up the entry point. Delphine finally, Warrendell says, "We're here now. Go to your end of this and hurry the fuck up. Please, just die in there."
Yeah, that would just make the issues even more complicated. Awkward. But until we see again, my dear, my heart will beat.
I'm assuming you lot kind of hop off the ship and begin across the causeway.
Onward.
Yeah.
The trek through the snow is knee high. The winds are just pounding against you, howling like a banshee as you begin to walk across this causeway, which itself is about 30 feet wide. You look down and the drop is over 700 feet deep. There's no railings or anything. So as you walk across, even though it's not narrow, with the expanse below you, it feels probably a little too narrow for comfort. And there's obviously no sign of Harshnag yet. You guys made incredible time.
Yeah, whether do we want to wait for him or get on with this?
Look, he probably he'll catch up.
Yeah. Delphine says, no waiting. We don't care about your frost giant friend. Get going.
You're not going with us. You can move along, my dear. I know it's hard to leave me here, but my service for you is all finished. I left you a tip on your desk.
Just a tip, huh?
It was really just to get a new outfit, because hers is quite out of style.
She says, one day, Warndell, mark my words, I will kill you.
No, you won't. The love will be too strong. But come, let us hurry. We can't live out here in this cold weather. My loins can only keep you warm for so long.
That's right. And you see one of the other eight crewmen actually begin to channel up a spell, and after about a minute passing, they summon a Leomin's tiny hut. Poof, this little bubble kind of pops up, and they make it opaque pretty much instantly and begin to sit in there. You guys walk across the causeway, obviously. You deciding not to wait for Harshnag?
Yeah. But as possible as he'd be, we don't know how long we're going to be waiting.
All right. You begin to head in.
I guess Libby would say, I don't know if message would work, but Wardell, do you have like a message spell that you can, I don't know, send?
Not for a situation like this, no.
Okay.
We'll freeze out
Not
here
really
before
some
he
majors
gets here.
at the school would do stuff like that to just. I couldn't remember what the parameters of the spell were. So, all right. Anyways, onward.
All right. You come into the domed entrance, and as you look at the massive stone doors, you realize that obviously so everything is portioned for giant size. So you guys just seem like flecks in the grand scheme of things. The doors itself have the handles 12 feet off the floor. And then they're double that in size. As you open up into this pushed open door, you see that the snow drift has began to push in, and it opens up to a is this map to scale? I imagine this map is 10 feet, but it's 20 feet. It opens up into a 40 feet hallway.
Are there any other footprints? Looks like any disturbance to the snow?
Give me a survival check. With a 13, you're not noticing any. It's really snowy. Anyone else that wants to check can also do so. Unless nobody wants to check, in which case.
I is Libby going to be doing this? Why not?
Warren is completely useless in survival, so he wouldn't even know.
Yeah, so you guys don't notice any footsteps. It's really snowy. From there, I'm just trying to see. Does everyone know their passive perception off the top of their head? This is kind of important, but I can't find it in Fantasy Grounds for some reason.
It's actually on the main screen for all of us. And
it is 12. I see it. 12. Octavios, 13, and Livy with a 12. Okay, that's fine.
And I have a 15.
You have a 15? Oh, yours is lying. Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay, so, Sunlit, then, with your passive perception of 15, you notice that as this 40-foot wide and 40-foot tall hallway opens up, and it is long. It is hundreds of feet long. But as you open up into the entry point, you kind of are just naturally drawn to the ceiling. And you realize that there are two thick slabs of massive cement or brick or stone that must weigh like multiple tons dangling above the entry point. And with a passive perception, giant-sized traps are a little bit easier to notice. You see that the floor is pressure pointed in front of you. So as your friends are just about to kind of, you hold out your arms.
I think we're heavy enough to trigger this trap.
If all of us are on it.
Yes. Yes, I think we are. And I believe that we are going to want to use distance. Because I think if we are not, we are going to be crushed by those rocks above us. And I point them out.
They look like pretty big freaking rocks. Like a rock big enough to crush a giant. So what they would do to you guys maybe would not be the friendliest.
No.
Now, the problem is the pressure point itself is literally 20 foot by 20 foot.
And it makes up the entire entryway?
Yep.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I can get over there without a problem. But I suppose you're going to need a bit of help.
You missed your step, right? Me too.
Sonny, you should have a look.
Maybe Bornhella can throw her.
That's a very good idea.
Yes, that's the biggest problem that we have.
Well, perhaps if you wish to compliment my demeanor, give me a few ego boosts, Sonny. I can help you across too, don't worry.
I'm not going to stroke your ego just like your girlfriend won't.
Yeah, okay.
But
I hope you don't get crushed. I was kind of starting to like you a little.
I don't. Right. I believe that. I don't know.
I really can't help you though if you need it.
No, I don't.
Otherwise, I don't really have anything as far as inventory goes.
I'm going to be very honest. I believe that we maybe should wait for our giant friend to get here, and maybe he'll have a solution to this issue.
We'll freeze to death before that ever comes near.
Not if we keep moving. Maybe he does a few jumping jacks. Jogs in place.
It's up to you guys. You can definitely try to wait, but Warrendel's not wrong in the sense that if you don't have some magical means or something up your bag of tricks to survive in this environment, it is very, very, very cold.
What about a constant firebolt just in the hand?
That probably wouldn't get it done just enough. Maybe keep your fingertips warm.
What about the Remmerhaz wing?
It would shield you from the wind, but inevitably, if you were able to get inside, it would obviously be a little bit more bearable. But you're literally just being like torrented by the wind and the cold right now. It would block the wind, but it doesn't stop it from being very, very below freezing. Like you feel like if you actually stand still for a bit, that like parts of your body are actually beginning to grow like ice on them. And if you have any exposed skin, you're like in very, very real danger of getting severe frostbite.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sonny, I can help you. He'll take out a wand from his pack. It'll only take a moment. Go beyond. You can suck up your ego for a moment. Let the old wizard help you.
I have no ego. You have enough for all of us. What do you propose, Warrendel?
Well, teleport, of course. Just a little tap, and poof, you'll be over there. Without, before you know it. Little tingling sensation in the tummy, that's about it.
So you're saying you can teleport me? Or make me move from here to there.
Yes,
do that.
what he said.
And Broomhilda as well.
Oh.
Well, actually, I don't know. Let me look.
I don't believe she'll leave my side.
It's just the pressure point that we're trying to avoid right now, correct? Like, is there an obvious, like,
Yes.
beyond it, what looks like a safe?
Yes, definitely. Just
like, as Warren's like trying to like, yeah, I can teleport you. Like, Vivi's gonna be like, yeah, like this, and she will misty step to the other side of the safe spot.
Yeah, because you can go 30 feet. I've got an idea. If there's all the snow and everything, what if we were to make a large snowball and roll it onto the pressure point?
As Livy's now standing in the cave, her entrance, like, ah.
yeah. Octavio shrugs and says he also doesn't have any way to teleport either. But if you guys can teleport him, then he's like, I could always try to just jump.
Yeah, that's a terrible idea, sir.
Just a simple tap with Z1 here. So let just.
Warrendale or Octavius puts up his hand and he'll say, "I'll take the tap tap."
Yeah,
See.
tap him. And I'd like to actually look around to see if there's anything for me to circumvent this by climbing.
Give me investigate or perception.
She's really good at that.
Sunlit refuses to be up. I'll say sure, but it's dangerous. Like if you slip, you'll be in trouble.
Well, I have a climbing speed.
Yeah.
So
The thing about this area actually is it says that even climbing speed, since it's so icy, is actually affected. It actually says that. So I'll say that there's a chance, but it's not an easy climb.
Yeah.
Tap.
She's ignoring him at this point. And okay, so Sunlit looks at Broomhilda. What do you think of my idea? If we were to make it trigger, it may only be a one-time thing.
She trusts you.
I do so. I gather a large snowball.
Octavius kind of shrugs and says, "If you want to just trigger the trap, I could always just swing my warhammer."
You and your pain, Octavius. Whatever you would like to try. And she smiles and gives him the kind of gesture to go ahead and try that.
It's like, all right, we're triggering the trap. Just to confirm, everyone wants me to do this.
Is there a spot for Livy to stand?
Well, before you do that, last chance. Otherwise, I'm going to go have Livy. I don't want to leave her over yonder by herself.
Yep.
Oh.
So Livy's already over there. And Livy, you made an investigation, you said? Investigation?
Yeah, it was just 11.
Yeah, so I'll guess when you teleport in there, what you see is a long hallway which spans for actually, as far as you can see, it actually goes into the darkness, but over 100 feet.
All right. She'll wait patiently, just kind of making sure that there's no other like immediate threat or obvious trap. Hey guys, we might want to not come in here.
Octavius is like, Warrendale, do you want to teleport across before I do this?
If they don't want to go with me, then yeah, I'll just do Misty Step.
All right, so
he says,
so wait.
Mm-hmm.
This unnatural movement that you want to inflict on me, I will be whole when I come to the other side, right? You're not going to play a trick on me, Warrendale.
Me play a trick on you?
You've never done that before.
Well, it's not under such serious circumstances, right? Maybe just a little playful here and there, but I have your back when it matters, eh?
Then teleport me, Warrendale. But you have to teleport her as well. And she gestures toward Bjornhilda.
I can only take one. I don't want to use all of my better stuff for teleporting. Which actually I can only take one. But if you'd let me give you a little tap first, let's see how this works first, and then we'll take it from there.
Fine. And she looks annoyed with you as she does often.
I'll take out this wand and wave it around a little bit. And, I just want to cast Wand of Smiles on you just to make you smile for a change.
Yes. I'll give you a point of inspiration for that.
You can have a point of inspiration.
See, Sonny, it's not all that bad.
Is there a save for it? Or is she just
there is. Yeah, it's a charisma save DC 10.
Give me a charisma save, Sunlit.
No, this is going to be great because she's hugely charismatic, as you guys know.
DC 10 is a...
You are smiling from ear to ear after he enchants you, and you're kind of forced to do so for, what, a minute?
Yeah, 1 minute. I'll tuck my wand away. All right, now let's get done with the show. So it's up to you guys. Really, I can only take one person. And I don't want to wipe my level 4 spell slots teleporting everybody. So,
basically, yeah, you can teleport Sunlit, and then Octavios and Bjornhilda can just try to run across and hope for the best.
So you're going to have those two who are not the fastest people here. That sounds like a plan.
I was going to say, I don't know if that's kind of up to you, Corey. I don't know if you want to try and
why don't you take Octavius with you?
Yeah, he's the cleric. Let's take the cleric who can heal.
No. Can you teleport them if they're holding each other? I think I remember people experimenting with that back at my school.
You know, that would have been maybe helpful before you did it yourself.
Actually.
Oh, I don't think Misty Step is completely different. Like similar, but different.
Wait a minute. I might have a better...
What you got?
I don't think any of us have a bag of holding on.
How much does Octavius or Sunlit weigh? Am I strong enough to hold them up? Because I can fly once per day.
Octavius is probably pretty dang heavy.
Yeah, I'm thinking he's wearing full plate, shouldn't he?
Yeah, he's wearing...
weighs over 200 pounds.
All right, I don't even know what my lift is, so I don't think it's that great.
I think Fantasy Ground actually tells you somewhere.
Somewhere I'm looking for it. I did just see
inventory at the bottom.
Lift. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's up to you, Chris. I can lift 300, but I don't know if I can fly 20 feet with holding one of them up.
I'll say you could do that with Sunlit for sure, but not Octavius. I doubt Octavius actually weighs 300 pounds. That'd be pretty impressive. Either one. I'll allow it.
All right. Brunhilde too. So I guess if you want to try running, Corey, I can get the other two across.
Yeah, she go ahead and do that. And she's over this whole dilemma of this, and I'm gonna attempt that climb.
All right, go ahead. Athletics, climbing.
Athletics.
Yes, sir.
Great.
Well, actually, I read that wrong, Chris. I can, as an action, I can fly up to 20 feet. Could I just fly one of them over, come back, fly one of them over, come back, fly one of them over?
Let me see. What is it? Is that from your? That's from your pen today, or your
wind? So first, it's the first one wind step. As an action, you can fly 20 feet. Which I'd be landing at the end of it. Yeah,
there you go. That circumvents it. The unstoppable trap has been overcome by the pennant of wind. So yeah, you don't unless you really want to, Sunlit.
No, I'd really rather not.
Warrendale can fly you.
I'll hold you tight as you smile from ear to ear, Kitty. You look like you're having a blast on the side.
Yeah, it's great.
So, with that, a couple of minutes it takes, you're able to overcome the unstoppable trap. That is the pressure plate.
I imagine she purrs a little when I carry her.
I think you're probably imagining that for sure.
You can imagine that all you want.
Yeah. Then you snap out of the imagination, and you see the Wanda smile wears off, and she's snarling at you. The hallway ceiling, as you get into this massive corridor, is 60 feet high, and as you look, I'm just going to say for the ease of things, north is the passageway is heading from west where you guys came to east, and north and south there's actually a ledge that is 20 feet high on both sides, and you see that there is niches carved away which lead up to little walkways every 40 feet on both sides, 5 niches in total. And it basically, as you walk and you just kind of feel tiny as you're walking through this long hallway, you get the sense that this hallway was designed that if anyone ever came, the defense would come up on this large ledges on both sides and deal ranged death upon those who weren't welcome here. I do actually have a map of this for the players. I don't know if you guys are interested. I think you normally like more theater of the mind stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll share it then, and keep in mind that we don't have to turn this into like a tactical thing, but you guys should start to see some stuff now. I actually have your tokens dragged in there too, and I think my map just froze because I'm sharing it to you guys. It's a really large map. That's why I was hesitant, because it's giant size.
Yeah, it's coming up. It's just slow.
Yeah.
One day. Oh, I see tokens.
Yeah. And I think I can sync the view to make you look at what I'm looking at. So I'll do that. And yeah, so moral of the story is after you guys get across this pressure point, being inwards now, you just see a long hallway which leads up to a giant set of stairs, and the giant set of stairs lead to a massive double door that is actually pushed open. And now that you're in here without a survival check, you do see that there is footprints, several of them actually, and
they're not giant sized.
They're not giant sized.
Dancing lights.
Yeah, what is the light situation like in here?
Non-existent, so it's pretty dark.
Yeah, so Livy would just kind of give a quick heads up in case anyone really opposed the idea. She'd be like, I'm going to turn on some lights. And dancing lights. And she'll move
Anybody be against lights?
Huh?
Why would anybody ever be against lights?
Well, if we're trying to be stealthy or something.
Yeah, it'll draw attention to us. I mean,
yeah, and so it's like, and yep, she respects the thoughts of the party, and so.
And before you're even able to do that, she has already cast her own light spell.
Sorry, what?
She outlighted you.
Okay.
Because I now have the light spell as well.
All right.
Way to rain on Livy's parade. Anyways, you guys can both cast light spells. Dancing lights looks pretty cool as it kind of flutters across the room and dances as it does so, hovering above you, kind of going up and down.
I want to see Livy's dancing lights are little fairies.
Little fairies.
Little light fairies flying about.
Little light fairies. And you make your way up to the 40-foot flight of stairs. It ascends another 20 feet, and then you basically see these 30-foot tall granite doors carved with the image of a giant god locked in battle with a dragon. And the doors look like they're just impervious to all damage, and that they would be incredibly hard to open if you ever had to do that task. But fortunately, it seems that they're just slightly pushed open for you.
Subject. Perhaps you can take a look, see what's ahead.
You took the words right out of my mouth. And if you ever do that again to my mouth, I'm going to take Broomhilda's advice. And she just looks at her friend and winks.
Ah, you need me. It's okay.
I don't need you. And she I would. Yeah, I don't mind pushing forward and. Oh, you're doing things
Yeah,
for
don't
us.
worry.
I like
Don't
it.
worry. Yep. Go ahead and stealth check. Just because the door is here anyway, so I'm assuming you want to stealth past the door is what you're doing?
Yes.
Okay. So go ahead and give a stealth, and we'll see how that goes.
Cool. This is something I haven't even been able to really do because we don't get to do this type of thing very often. But she's amazing at it. Yeah, I'm gonna use my inspiration.
You had to go and say it out loud. Hey, Fantasy Grounds is listening always.
Oh my good God.
So
I hate to
amazing
tell
that
that.
you rolled a 3 and a 1. Nonetheless, you open up, luckily to you, to a absolutely. Do you have dark vision?
No.
You don't have.
Well,
You
don't matter, I guess.
you don't have dark vision. Interesting. So are you keeping the light lit, sunlit?
I guess I have to, don't I?
Yeah, to see for sure. So with that, let me undo this. Shit. How do I undo it? How do I undo it? How do I undo it? No. All right, I undid it. With that, the 30 feet of light illuminates, obviously, basically, this is kind of being friendly, but it just basically illuminates a very massive room. You can just tell by the kind of atmosphere of it. Thick frost clings to the surface. As you look up, the ceiling itself is higher than your light spell actually even goes. And actually, I'm lying. There's light in this room. Sorry. Let's just show it. Just a prank. Showing the room. I probably should screen share too if I'm showing you guys because I probably sound like a jackass to anyone who's listening. And then screen share that. So you open up into this 100-foot high vaulted chamber. 7 enormous statues dominate this room. The largest of them is in the center and is an 80-foot tall robed giant. His arms are stretched outwards and his face is hidden beneath a cowl. He's actually reaching to the eastern cause or the eastern what am I trying to say here? Eastern archway, and the other 6 statues seem to be bowing down before this. You see that they are a paragon of each type of giant: a hill giant, a stone giant, a frost giant, a fire giant, a cloud giant, and a storm giant. And they're all looking and outstretching their arms towards this massive one with a weapon, a gift to the Allfather. Only one frost giant is unarmed. As you look in this room, though, everyone give me a perception check.
So I'm gonna recant that statement. She actually does have dark vision. She may look up.
I was gonna say it sounds.
Because I thought it was really weird that a cat wouldn't have dark vision.
Yeah.
Because they kind of have it in real life.
Yeah.
I wonder why it's not on here. But anyways, did you say perception?
Yep, I did say that.
Give me 1 second. What's the fuck? Oh, lovely.
Okay, so the first and most easiest thing to see is that standing just a few, like 30 feet in front of you in the middle of this room, right around here, is a dead body. It looks like a tribal kind of barbarian that lays dead on the ground. And then in the distance, probably behind the statue, you hear the sound of commotion, as if there's people talking or mumbling to each other.
Okay. I with Bruhelda would like to go up and take a look at that corpse.
Okay, the corpse. Are you stealthing to do so?
Yeah, because that worked out so well last time. Let's try it again.
Yeah. Hey, there's only room for improvement. Okay.
Yeah, because I rolled a 1 on my. inspired die.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's much better.
Okay. Let me know what you rolled, just because I'm not actually looking at fantasy grounds right now.
21.
21. That is much better. All right. You see that this individual looks to be like a chief or something of a barbarian tribe. As Bjornhilda, actually, conveniently enough, is with you, she would tell you in a whisper that this looks like the chief of the Great Worm tribe. His name would have been Wormblood.
Like worms, they're in the ground.
She would nod.
Okay.
Only really big.
Yeah, does he have does he have anything on him?
No. Or yeah, he has his weapons and stuff, which would be a great axe, and he's wearing hide armor.
Yeah, nice.
And give me an investigation check.
Sure. This is another thing she's amazing at. 10.
10. Never mind. You notice nothing. He looks dead.
Yeah, he's very dead. It sounds like a commotion. Okay, I would like to move. Can I move myself?
Probably. If I did it right.
Yeah, I can. I'd like to. So these are arms on that thing? Is that what this is? Or what is that? It's kind of confusing with that form is in the middle.
That is a massive 80-foot tall statue wearing a cowl and robe.
So then this kind of goes out a bit, and I could hide behind that.
Yeah, definitely. With the stealth, you could definitely do so. And you peek around the corner, and finally, what you see... Bum, bum, bum. Did I actually prepare this, or am I a jackass? I might be a jackass.
Probably are.
1 second. Just looking for... There we go. I actually did do it. Good job, Chris. You see... I'm not even going to make you make a perception check because they're not hiding. Your old buddy, Nilron, and 6 barbarians... Or why do I keep saying barbarians? What do I actually mean to say? I guess barbarians is fine. Tribal men, though, like big ass northern tribal people in hide armor that look like they're tough as nails. And then now, actually, purchased on Nilron's shoulder is a white dragon wormling.
Lovely.
Awesome.
And Nilron is currently commanding the barbarians and insulting them, just calling them like big dumb idiots. You're even stupider when I have control over you. And how long does it take to pull down one of those weapons? Hurry up.
And what weapons are there on the wall?
So each of the other 6 statues circling this or looking at this massive statue are holding out a weapon of their own towards the statue. And as you look around, you get the sense that putting 2 and 2 together, you don't maybe know who they are, but these 6 statues are probably the paragon gods that each caste system would worship themselves. And then the middle one is the Allfather, Anam.
Yeah. Wonderful. It's so these weapons are enormous.
Yes, they look like they would probably weigh around upwards of 600 pounds and above, some of them. You see a bone club, a stone boulder, an iron greatsword, and these are all like they're casted in stone statue, like stone, but that's what each one seems to be kind of holding. Although one statue in particular seems to be missing a weapon.
Severus the snake.
Severus snake.
Yep. I thought you left that.
So, what are you doing? What is everybody else doing, actually, as you guys watch Livy or Sunlit sneak up?
I feel like Livy would be peeking through, just
you want to make a stealth check and to follow up? You guys, I imagine everyone already like walked in here a little bit.
I don't know if she wants to walk in. She wants to peek through. But I guess if everyone else is going, she will follow behind.
Yeah, the sound itself is coming from behind the statue, so they have no line of sight on you. So as long as you guys aren't like bumbling like idiots.
Okay.
It's a really big room.
So the 5 is where they are.
That's what Nilron is in particular. And the other guys are actually over here trying to deal with this statue who is holding a... Let me see if I can figure it out. Holding a trident.
Okay. Warren would be looking to go basically opposite where Sunlit is. So the other corner, I don't know where over there, but basically where he's out of sight, but opposite.
Yeah. She's knowing the layout at this point now. We're actually going to transfer herself over to that side as well.
Okay. Octavios, you guys will probably need to make stealth checks to go that far. Like in the room is fine, but to get that close, you're going to actually borderline range on making a sound now. So you'd have to make a stealth check.
Livy, what are you doing?
Livy, are you tripping over yourself?
This map is so big, I keep having to try and move it out of the way.
Yeah, sorry,
That's
you can actually right click and then go to the double window, resize, and make it smaller. Click the resize and then turn it to a smaller size. And
sweet.
Much easier to deal with. That's what I have done.
But like, Livy noticed something scurry across like some shadow, and she's just like, "Oh!" Which
what'd you roll?
Messes up Warren now too. A 9.
9.
Yeah, like she sees the shadow, like maybe a mouse scurries by her, and she's like, "Oh!" And she's like, "Shut up!" And she like, tries to freeze.
Perfect. I love it. Give me 1 second with a 9 and do that and do that and then do this. Sorry. I guess you guys are going to see because I'm screen sharing what I'm doing. But nobody look at the screen anymore.
I'm looking at my own.
I like looking at all your pretty faces.
All right. That didn't work, but that's fine. And then this. So I'm going to start showing it on the map. And there's only one B that stands for the barbarians, but there's multiple of them for now. I just don't really have time. The N stands for Nilron, and then the little tiny dragon wormling is obviously what's on his shoulder. But with a 9, Nilron turns around and says, "Is somebody here? Idiots! Someone is spying on us. Search them out." And the barbarians that are now kind of like halfway climbing up the statue, which is pretty massive in size itself, hop down. Sunlit, you moved over to the other side, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You don't see them anymore, but you guys hear his voice kind of echo out as he says that. And then he says, "You, my pet, go see if you can find out who is here." And then the dragon wormling begins to fly and go the other way.
So is this it's like a find familiar type deal thing? Like small, or is it
give me a insight, or give me a straight intelligence check.
Oh,
Anyone can give me a straight intelligence check.
14.
Nice. Anybody else following it before I go any further?
Libby would just whisper real quick, "I can do rope trick."
I can do rope trick. Perfect.
But
14's enough.
Roping around may not be the best idea either.
I can do the shoot it out of the sky trick.
14's enough to remember that Nilron mentioned dragon eggs back in Varberg. And this looks like a pretty freshly hatched dragon.
So how large is it?
Basically the scale. So it is medium in size. Yeah, it's medium.
And it was sitting on his shoulder.
I guess probably not on his shoulder. In the grand scheme of things,
Yeah,
Mr.
I was like, wait a
Technicality.
minute. This is That's why I was asking if it was like, you know, like
Yeah, sorry. I forgot that it's actually
dragon size or if it's a, you know,
it's like a big dog that thinks it's a lap dog, right?
yeah, it's a baby dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
So is anyone doing anything? Because these things are quickly upon you now. Descending, the dragon flies pretty quickly.
Can we see it?
Peeking around the corner, I'm going to say sure.
How do you do that?
You can't do it for some dumb reason.
I can't do any of that measuring.
Nah, try left clicking and right clicking on the map. I'm pretty sure you can't though. It's one of the dumber things about Fantasy Grounds. If you left click and right click at the same time and then drag, that's how I'm doing it.
I just.
But I'm pretty sure for some reason Fantasy Grounds gave no way for the players to actually ping anything on the map.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, there's a way to like suggest the movement that you want to take, but I have that turned off.
Because I know for some of my spells it'll pop up and I can measure, but I don't know how or why it doesn't.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Oh, I can do it.
That must be new. I can't see it though if you're doing it right now.
Oh.
All right.
It's actually if you right click, go to pointers.
Oh yeah, I see it.
You can do all those kind of things.
There you go.
Another thought that Livy has is utilizing like stuffing dancing lights and then like casting it 120 feet away, so more towards this bottom right statue, like trying to catch the dragon's attention to go that way to buy more time.
Okay, go ahead and do so. Give a little dancing light. And where are you casting it, in the south side?
It's that bottom right statue.
Okay. So yeah, it sees a light and begins to fly over there.
She'll just kind of try and concentrate while the other two figure out, okay, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Like have it chase around the statue.
6 barbarians begin to head the other way. Doof, doof, doof.
Okay. I'm going to go kill that mage.
All right. I'm going to cast True Strike and target the Wormling.
The Wormling? Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Then, what the heck time is it? It is 1 a.m. Do we want to cliffhanger it or fight it out?
Ooh.
It's getting late.
Nice to have Octavius to help us with this fight.
Yeah.
At the same time, do I really want to wait 3 weeks before playing again? Because
it's 3 weeks.
Saturdays off.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, I'm fading. So
yeah, let's just leave it at that then. With the
delicious cliffhanger
about to go off, unfortunately, and we don't even get to see Neil Ron make his grand monologue. Darn. Just kidding. I didn't have one prepared.
He's not going to be able to do that because he's going to have a fucking bolt in his mouth.
All right. Well, cool. Then this is unfortunately where we'll end it. That was just really roleplay heavy, but we are officially on to chapter 4, everybody. And that means that we are... What's that?
5 more chapters left?
Technically 12, but then technically not 12 at the same time. So probably closer to 5 more chapters left. But anyways, we're going on a bit of a break due to scheduling stuff. We're going to be off for the next 2 weeks and then really try hard to get back on for 3. So hopefully Fantasy Ground saves this map. Otherwise, I'll probably forget. But I think it will. Thanks for playing, guys, and I can't wait to get back into this. So I'll see you once we get offline. Peace out, everybody.
Cheers.